The soft hum of the engines played under jazz music. Adrian Hunter, dressed in a plain white t-shirt and jeans, stared out the window as the clouds floated beneath the plane. His eyes looked tired, not from lack of sleep, but from the weight of disappointment. His phone buzzed beside him. A message from Vanessa. "I just think it's unfair you won't let me use your card again. I mean, it's not like you're broke." He sighed deeply, locked the phone, and leaned back in his seat. Adrian, muttering to himself, "Love shouldn't feel like a business deal." EXT, Murtala Muhammad Airport night. The car that came to pick Adrian was modest. He had asked for it. No flashy convoy, no staff holding name cards, just a clean black sedan with tinted windows. As the car pulled out onto the bustling streets of Lagos, Adrian looked out at the city. It was alive, chaotic, bold, unforgiving, but somehow honest. A long mahogany table stretched between Adrian and Robert Hunter, his father. Robert, regal in posture with pepper-gray hair and sharp eyes, sipped red wine while cutting into grilled tilapia. "Robert, so, you've finally returned from your Harvard empire." "Adrian, I needed to, Dad." "Robert, you needed to run away from another woman who saw you as a walking ATM?" Adrian dropped his fork, his eyes narrowing slightly. "Adrian, it's not funny." Robert, leaning back. "It's not, but it's expected. You're young, rich, and single. You don't attract love. You attract opportunities." Adrian, serious. "Then I want to change that. I want to find someone who doesn't know my last name. Someone who sees me, not the money." "Robert, and how do you plan to do that?" Adrian inhaled deeply, then looked his father straight in the eye. "Adrian, I want to go undercover in your company, as a gatekeeper." Robert, choking on his drink. "A what?" Adrian, calm. "Gatekeeper, the lowest staff on the chain. Let me work at the entrance. No last names, no privileges. Let me see how people treat me when they think I have nothing." Robert stared at his son for a long moment, then broke into a slow chuckle. "Robert, you're crazier than I thought, and maybe wiser." The glass skyscraper shimmered under the Lagos sun. Cars honked, staff hustled in sharp suits, and the security team stood stiffly at their posts. In a small corner gatehouse, Adrian, now wearing a navy blue uniform and a face cap, adjusted his badge, his stone. The compound supervisor, Mr. Bello, handed him a logbook. "Mr. Bello, you see this gate? Go move until your shift finish. No sleeping, no playing. You hear?" Adrian, smiling. "Yes, sir." Mr. Bello, squinting. "You day smile? You go soon wipe that smile comet when Lagos' son slap you small." Adrian chuckled quietly as he took his position at the gate. Hunter Holdings, main lobby, later that day. Willow Scott, tall and dazzling in a figure-hugging wine dress, strutted across the lobby. Her heels clicked with attitude. In her wake followed whispers and admiring stares. Hannah Rivers walked beside her, modest blouse, neat skirt, and a quiet charm. "Willow, ugh, this weather is messing up my makeup. I swear, Nigeria needs better ventilation." Hannah, smiling. "It's called weather, Willow, not a nightclub." Willow rolled her eyes and spotted the new gatekeeper sipping water under the sunshade. "Willow, wait, who's that?" "Hannah, new gate guy, I think." "Willow, he looks too fresh to be a gatekeeper. Maybe he's someone's cousin getting a trial job." As they approached the gate, Adrian stood tall and greeted them. "Adrian, good morning, ladies." Willow didn't respond. She just looked him up and down. Willow, sarcastic. "Good morning, ABI. How much do you earn that you think you can talk to me?" Adrian, taken aback. "Just greeting." Willow, laughing loudly. "Next time, greet with silence. I don't like noise." Hannah, gently. "Willow, that was rude." Willow, rude or realistic? The man looks like a rejected bank applicant. Hannah turned to Adrian with an apologetic look. "Hannah, I'm sorry about that. She didn't mean to be harsh." Adrian, smiling. "It's okay. Thanks for speaking kindly." As the women walked away, Willow hissed under her breath. "Willow, ugh, you're too soft, Hannah. That's why you're stuck in HR." "Gatehouse night," Adrian wrote in a small notebook he brought from abroad. He titled the page, "Day 1, True Colors." He wrote, People notice uniforms more than souls. Hannah saw me. Willow stepped on me. Maybe this is going to work. Montage, days passing. Adrian helps staff push a broken-down generator. Cleans up a water spill no one else bothered to touch. Buys Puff Puff for the drivers during break. Shares jokes with the janitors. Watches Willow laugh loudly in the cafeteria, surrounded by admirers. Hannah often passes by and gives him a kind nod. Hunter Holdings, main gate, morning. The sun had barely risen, but Lagos was already awake. Horns honking, hawkers shouting, and staff trickling into Hunter Holdings in crisp uniforms and tailored suits. Adrian Hunter, now wearing his gatekeeper uniform, stood at his post, clipboard in hand. A bead of sweat rolled down his temple, but he didn't wipe it. Instead, he smiled at the receptionist who always walked in with a frown. Adrian, cheerful. Good morning, Ma. Receptionist, barely glancing. Morning. She walked past. Adrian chuckled to himself. Adrian muttering. One kindness at a time. Main lobby. Later that morning, a group of staff had gathered by the vending machine, whispering and laughing. Willow Scott stood among them in a silk blouse and high heels that clicked with authority. She spotted Adrian through the glass entrance, standing tall by the gate. Willow mocking. See that new gateman? I swear, he acts like he owns the building. Who stands like that as a security man? Staff 1 chuckling. I heard he asked the IT guy for lunch break schedule, like he's management. Willow laughs. Maybe he thinks he's undercover boss. Please. He can't even afford shoe polish. EXT, front gate, lunchtime. Adrian watched as Willow approached. She walked like the pavement belonged to her. He took a deep breath, determined to be kind. Adrian, smiling. Good afternoon. Willow stopped and slowly turned to face him, eyebrow raised. Willow, are you talking to me? Adrian, yes. Just greeting. Hope you're having a good day. She looked him up and down with open disdain. Willow, loudly, for everyone to hear. Wow, you must be very bold. Adrian blinked, confused. Adrian, sorry. Willow scoffs. You? Think you can talk to me? You're wearing a uniform that smells like sweat and concrete. You can't even afford the perfume I use. Yet you think we're on talking terms? Adrian's smile faded just a little. Several staff nearby had turned to look. Some smirked, others looked away, uncomfortable. Adrian, gently. Didn't mean to offend. Just being polite. Willow, next time, be polite from a distance. She tossed her hair and walked off, heels clicking like a final insult. Bench near security post. Moments later, Adrian sat down quietly, his hand still holding the clipboard. He didn't speak. He just stared at the ground, letting the silence soak in the humiliation. Then, soft footsteps. A shadow appeared in front of him. It was Hannah Rivers, holding a cold bottle of water. Hannah, gently. You look like you needed this. Adrian looked up, surprised. Her eyes were kind. No judgment. Adrian softly. Thank you. Hannah, sitting beside him. I'm really sorry about what Willow said. She can be harsh. Adrian, chuckling faintly. Harsh is one way to say it. Hannah, smiling. She's been through a lot, but that's no excuse. I just wanted you to know not everyone here thinks like that. Adrian studied her face. No pretension. No agenda. Just a human seeing another human. Adrian, I appreciate this more than you know. Hannah, you got a good attitude. I've seen you helping the cleaners and drivers. That's rare. Adrian shrugs. Everyone deserves kindness. Hannah, softly. I agree. They sat in silence for a moment, sharing the bottled water. A driver passed and gave Adrian a thumbs up. Gatehouse that evening. Adrian leaned against the wall, flipping through his notebook. He wrote, Day 11. She saw me. Today I learned it's not money that brings you value. It's how you treat people when no one's watching. He closed the book slowly, the scene replaying in his head. Willow's words, Hannah's water, the way people laughed, and the way she listened. Hunter Holdings, elevator bay, next day. Willow stepped into the lift with a group of junior staff. The air was tense. Staff 2 jokingly. Madam Willow, your gateman friend greeted me this morning. I dodged fasto before he greets my pocket away. Laughter. Willow, rolling her eyes. Please. You should focus on opening gates, not mouths. As the door slid shut, Hannah walked by. She heard everything. She didn't stop, but her face fell a little. Canteen, lunchtime. Adrian sat alone, eating rice and beans quietly in a corner. His uniform made him invisible to most, but not to Hannah. She approached with her tray. Hannah, mind if I join you? Adrian smiled, grateful, surprised. Adrian, sure, but I warn you, my lunch isn't 5-star. Hannah, grinning. Mine isn't either, but it's warm. They ate together, laughing over small jokes and complaining about Lagos traffic. Their bond deepened. Not forced, not flashy. Real. Robert Hunter's study night. Robert Hunter reviewed company reports in his private study. His assistant knocked. Assistant. Sir, your son called in sick today, but he's actually working. In the sun. Same uniform. Same gait. Robert raised his brow with interest. Robert. He's still doing it. Assistant. Every single day, sir. And there's this HR lady. Hannah Rivers. She's been kind to him. Robert, smiling faintly. Good. Let the game play on. EXT. Security post. Later that week. Willow returned from a client presentation, wearing a flashy outfit and carrying an iced mocha. As she passed the gate, Adrian opened it politely. Adrian, welcome back, Ma. Willow didn't respond. Then she paused, turned, and sneered. Willow, I see you found your voice again. Careful. If you smile too much, people might think you're happy. Adrian calmly. Isn't that the point of life? She stared at him for a moment, then scoffed. Willow, gate men don't get to talk about life. She walked away. Adrian didn't flinch. Company parking lot. Next day. Hannah and Adrian crossed paths again. Hannah, playfully. You survived another Willow strike? Adrian, laughing. Barely. I might start wearing armor to work. Hannah, well, I think you're doing great. Adrian looked at her warmly. Adrian, you have no idea what that means to me. Gatehouse night. Adrian opened his notebook again. He wrote, Day 14. The world saw a uniform. She saw a person. He closed it and looked out the window at the stars. Adrian quietly. She's the one. Company canteen day. The cafeteria buzzed with chatter. Adrian and Hannah sat at a corner table, their trays half finished. Laughter bubbled between them like quiet music. Adrian, teasing. So let me guess, your guilty pleasure is jollof with too much pepper? Hannah, grinning. Guilty as charged, but only if it's made with smoked turkey. They both laughed. The ease between them was growing, natural and unforced. Every smile, every shared look built something unspoken. From across the room, Willow watched them, stirring her smoothie with irritation. Lobby, next morning. Willow stormed past the security gate, heels clacking furiously. She didn't stop at the door. Willow, snapping. You. Gateman. Adrian, standing by the gate, turned. Adrian. Yes, Ma. Willow. I want coffee. Hot Americano. Not that lukewarm roadside nonsense. Go to Dream Cafe. You know the one. Adrian. All right. I'll get it. Willow, stern. You better be fast. And if it's not hot, don't bother returning. EXT. Dream Cafe. 30 minutes later. Adrian stood in line, glancing nervously at the time. The cafe was unusually crowded. The barista, flustered, handed him the coffee 15 minutes late. He grabbed the paper cup, checked the label, and hurried back. Hunter Holdings, reception. Moments later. Willow stood in the lobby with arms folded. She saw Adrian rushing in, slightly out of breath, coffee in hand. Willow, impatient. What took you so long? Did you plant the beans yourself? Adrian offered the cup politely. Adrian, sorry for the delay, Ma. The cue was. Before he could finish, Willow took the cup and sipped. Her face twisted. Willow, angrily. This is not hot. It's barely warm. Adrian. There was a delay, but it's freshly brewed. Without warning, she flung the coffee into his face. Staff, gasps, filled the lobby. Conversation stopped. Someone dropped a stapler. Time froze. Adrian, crying out. The cup bounced off his chest and rolled away. Brown liquid splattered across his shirt and cheeks. His eyes blinked rapidly, stung by the heat. Willow rolled her eyes. Willow mocking. Oh, please. Don't act like I poured acid. If it were actually hot, you'd be on the floor. I just saved your skin. You should be thanking me. The security camera above blinked red, recording. HR office, seconds later. Hannah, filing documents, heard the commotion outside. She rushed into the lobby, heart pounding. She spotted Adrian crouched slightly, hands to his face. Willow stood nearby, unbothered. Hannah shocked. Oh my God, Adrian. She ran to him, pulling out tissues from her bag. Hannah, are you okay? Are you burned? Adrian, gasping. Just my eyes a little sting. Hannah, come. Let's get you to the clinic now. She wrapped her arm around his shoulder and gently let him out. The staff watched silently, some in awe, some ashamed. Willow turned and walked off like nothing had happened. Company clinic later. Adrian sat on the edge of the bed, shirt off, his eyes closed. The nurse applied cooling gel to his cheek. Hannah sat beside him, holding his hand. Nurse, it's not too bad. Thankfully, the coffee wasn't boiling. He'll be okay in a few hours. When the nurse stepped out, Adrian finally spoke. Adrian, why are you still here? Hannah softly. Because no one deserves to be treated like that. And because you matter. Adrian opened his eyes. They were red, but now with something deeper than pain. Gratitude. Affection. Adrian, you're the only one here who's seen me. Not my uniform. Not my title, just me. Hannah, smiling. Sometimes it takes someone invisible to truly see. A quiet moment passed between them. The silence wasn't awkward. It was sacred. Gatehouse, that night. Adrian sat under a dim light, his journal open. Day 21, coffee, cruelty, and clarity. Pain opens your eyes. But kindness shows you who deserves your heart. He paused, then added, it's her. It's always been her. He closed the journal gently and looked up at the moon outside. Adrian, softly. Soon she'll know who I am. EXT, garden bench, late afternoon. The sun was beginning to dip over Lagos, casting a warm orange hue over the Hunter Holdings compound. Hidden behind the parking lot, near the staff garden, Adrian sat with Hannah on a wooden bench, sharing Puff Puff and Fanta like two old friends. Adrian grinning. You know, I never thought Fanta and Puff Puff could make such a romantic date. Hannah, laughing. Well, that's because you haven't tried it with Suya yet. That's the real candlelight dinner. They laughed again. Adrian looked at her, really looked at her. Her smile, her laugh, the way she made the simplest things feel magical. Adrian, thank you for seeing me. Hannah, surprised. See you? You're sitting right here. Adrian, gently. No, I mean really seeing me. Past this uniform. Past the job. Just me. Hannah, smiling. That's because I don't judge people by their titles. A kind heart is the most expensive thing someone can wear. Adrian's heart swelled. He reached for her hand. Adrian, softly. So, is this a date? Hannah blushed slightly. Hannah, if you want it to be. Adrian grinned. They both looked up as a breeze passed between them, like the wind itself was rooting for them. Staff cafeteria, the next day. Word had begun to spread. Not through gossip, but through glances, those quiet, curious ones exchanged when Adrian and Hannah walked into the cafeteria together. They didn't sit apart anymore. They shared food, shared laughs, shared warmth. Willow Scott, however, noticed it all. She sat at a table with her co-workers, sipping from a tall iced coffee, eyes locked on the couple across the room. Willow coldly. Look at her. So proud, sitting with the help like it's a love story. Staff member. Well, he does seem decent. Willow, snapping. Decent doesn't pay bills. Decent can't afford rent in a koi. Hallway later. Willow cornered Hannah near the HR office. Willow, can we talk? Hannah, cautious. About what? Willow, you and that gate guy. Hannah, firm. His name is Adrian. Willow, fine. Adrian, look, I'm just trying to help you. You're smart, you're kind. Why tie yourself to someone with no future? Hannah, shaking her head. You don't know him. Willow, I know enough. He's a gatekeeper, Hannah. That job is the end of the road, not the beginning. It will ruin your image here. People are talking. Hannah, gently but firmly. If character ruins my image, then I don't want the image. I want substance. And he has that. Willow stared at her in disbelief. Willow, wow, you really are naive. Hannah, smiling. No, I just know gold when I see it, even if it's covered in dust. Robert Hunter's office, same time. Robert Hunter stood by his tall window, arms crossed, watching the office below. His assistant, Chuka, entered holding a tablet. Chuka, sir, everything is ready for the announcement. Robert, good. I want every department present. And make sure the press gets a copy too. This isn't just a company update. It's a legacy moment. Chuka, yes, sir. Will your son be present? Robert turned, smiling faintly. Robert, he'll do more than show up. Gatehouse, evening. Adrian sat at a small table, removing his boots after a long day. His phone buzzed. A message from his dad. Final announcement set for Friday. Hope you're ready to be seen again. He stared at the screen for a moment. Adrian, quietly. I'm not doing this for the company. I'm doing this for her. He opened his notebook and scribbled. Day 27. Secrets don't stay hidden forever. But love survives the light. Hannah's apartment, night. A cozy one-bedroom flat, decorated with framed quotes and plants. Hannah curled up on her couch, video calling her best friend. Best friend on screen. Wait, so you're really dating this guy? Hannah, smiling. Yes. Best friend. Wow. Girl, I mean, he's a gatekeeper. You sure this isn't charity? Hannah, chuckling. No, it's love. He listens. He respects. He never tries to impress me with things, just with presence. Best friend. Well, if he makes you happy, I'll support it. Just don't let anyone shame your peace. Hannah, I won't. They don't know what I know. Hunter Holdings, conference hall, morning. The large conference room buzzed with anticipation. The glass walls shimmered under Lego sunlight. Every department was present. Suits, ties, heels, headscarves, all gathered under one roof for the company's highly publicized quarterly impact and leadership address. Rumors have been flying for weeks. New leadership, new direction, new manager. Hannah Rivers sat near the middle, nervously adjusting the sleeves of her blouse. Beside her, Willow Scott looked flawless as usual in a mustard blazer, legs crossed, phone in hand, scrolling through Instagram with a smirk. Willow, leaning over, whispering, "Watch. They'll probably bring in another imported executive from Dubai or London. We'll have to start greeting with fake accents again." Hannah, gently, "Let's just see what happens." Willow, "Whatever happens, I just hope it's someone who understands class." The room dimmed slightly. A hush fell as Robert Hunter, founder and chairman of Hunter Holdings, stepped onto the podium. Dressed in an elegant dark suit with a green pocket square, he stood tall. His presence commanded silence. On stage, Robert, deep, calm voice. "Good morning, my people." A chorus of "Good morning, sir" echoed back. "Robert, when I started this company, all I had was a shipping container, a secondhand laptop, and one vision, to build a company where ideas and integrity matter more than titles." He paused, eyes sweeping across the crowd. "Robert, I've watched you all closely. I've seen how you work, how you treat each other, not just when I'm watching, but when you thought no one was." A few people stiffened in their seats. "Robert, today, I'm proud to announce a new chapter for our Lagos branch. This person has shown me more than business skills. They've shown humility, leadership, and wisdom, not from behind a desk, but from the ground floor, literally." Murmurs began. Heads turned. Confused glances. Robert, smiling slightly. "Please rise and welcome the new managing director of Hunter Holdings Lagos." He paused. Robert, loud and clear. "Adrian Hunter." Gasps. You could almost hear a pin drop. "Willow, wait. What?" The side doors opened. Adrian Hunter walked in. No gatekeeper uniform. No cap. No clipboard. Just a perfectly tailored navy suit, polished shoes, and quiet, commanding confidence. His beard trimmed, his hair perfectly brushed back. Phones came out. Cameras clicked. Hashtags were already being typed. Hashtag Hunter Reveal. Hashtag From Gate to Great. Hashtag The Gatekeeper Was the Boss. Willow sat frozen, her face draining of color. Hannah's hand went to her mouth in shock. Her eyes glistened with emotion. On stage, Adrian takes the mic. Adrian warmly. Hello, everyone. Crowd. Good morning, sir. He chuckled gently, glancing toward the rows of staff. Adrian, for the past few months, many of you knew me as the new gatekeeper. The quiet guy with a notebook. The one some people ignored. Some insulted. Some humiliated. The room went completely silent. Even the air paused. Adrian, I chose to wear that uniform not because I lacked experience, but because I wanted to see how this company operates from the bottom. And what I found changed me. He looked down for a moment, then back at them. Adrian, this company isn't just built on numbers. It must be built on people, on kindness, humility, and dignity. I met people who show me these things while I swept your gate. He paused again, then turned toward the crowd, eyes locking on one person, Hannah Rivers. Adrian continues. And then, I met someone. Hannah blinked. Her hand gripped the edge of her chair. Adrian, someone who didn't see a uniform, who didn't ask about salary, status, or surname. She saw a man. She offered water on a hot day. She gave friendship in the face of humiliation. And eventually, she gave me her heart. A collective sigh rippled through the room. A few staff already wiped tears. Adrian stepped down from the stage. Cameras followed his every move. He walked toward Hannah. Adrian, voice soft. Hannah Rivers. She stood up slowly, trembling. Her eyes welled with tears. Her lips parted, speechless. Adrian got down on one knee. Gasps. Shouts. Applause already rising. Adrian, you saw me when I was invisible. You loved me when I had nothing. Would you honor me by becoming my wife? The room went silent for a second. Then, Hannah nodded, tears falling freely. Hannah, whispering, Yes, yes, Adrian. The room erupted. Standing ovation. Cheers. Laughter. Phones in the air. Some screamed. Some cried. Some jumped with joy. Hashtag, gatekeeper proposal. Hashtag, she said yes. Hashtag, true love wins. Hashtag, Hannah and Adrian. Adrian stood, hugged her, and kissed her forehead. The staff chanted, Speech, speech, but none was needed. Across the room, Willow's table. Willow sat frozen, still, speechless, red-faced. Her lips barely moved. Willow, under her breath. He was the boss. She stood up slowly, avoiding eye contact, and quietly slipped out the back door, heels clicking like fading pride. As she left, a junior staff whispered, Junior staff. She mocked the gatekeeper. Now he runs the company. Another added, IT guy grinning. She fumbled the billionaire bag. Laughter bubbled around her empty seat. EXT. Hunter Holdings, front steps. Later that day, Adrian and Hannah stood before a row of flashing cameras and reporters. Journalist 1. Mr. Hunter, why did you go undercover? Adrian, smiling. Because I didn't want to marry a woman who loved my lifestyle. I wanted a woman who would love my life, even without the style. Journalist 2. And now that she knows who you are? Hannah, laughing through happy tears. He's still the same man, just cleaner shoes. Social media, minutes later. A flood of reactions poured in. Willow walked out like Wi-Fi in a thunderstorm. She fell for the gatekeeper and rose with a king. I need my own Adrian. I'm checking all my estate gatemen now. Best proposal of the year. Realest love ever. Humility, hype. This story deserves a movie. Hunter Mansion, living room, night. Robert and Adrian sat by the fireplace. Hannah sat nearby, holding a cup of tea. Robert, raising his glass. To true love and real leadership. Adrian, to the woman who reminded me what matters. Hannah, and to the man who proved you don't need a crown to be a king. They clinked glasses. Hunter Holdings, Monday morning. Adrian walked into the building, this time not through the gate, but through the executive elevator. Staff lined the hallway, clapping. Hannah walked beside him. As they entered his new office, a note was already waiting on the desk. It read, Respect isn't earned by wealth. It's earned by worth. Anonymous staff member. Adrian smiled. He looked at Hannah. Adrian, ready to build a company that loves people as much as profit? Hannah, grinning. Only if I get to build it with you. Adrian's journal, night. Adrian wrote his last entry under the title, From Gatekeeper to Groom. I came here searching for love. I left with a kingdom. But the real win wasn't the company. It was the woman who saw gold in the dust. He closed the journal and placed it in a drawer. Then turned to Hannah, who waited by the window, moonlight on her smile. Adrian, softly, let's begin forever. She nodded. They embraced, and the screen faded to black. The end.